Okay, today we are talking to Lyssa, who has a baby boy who is he's 7.5 months of age now. But we've been working together since he was around 4 months. And this is Lyssa, and she's here to share her success story. So Lyssa, tell me, why did you end up reaching out to me when your baby boy was 4 months?
My sister had reached out to you when she was in dire straits with her toddler. Her baby girl was not sleep trained until well after 18 months. And she had tried all these different methods to try to sleep train her, and nothing was working. And she was up. I mean, it was an hours long struggle every night to get her to bed. And I saw that firsthand. For me, I'm a single mom with an intense job, and I just felt like I had no time to waste. I wanted to do it right. I wanted to do it right the first time because I saw how hard it was, not only on my niece but also on my sister. And so she had the most incredible things to say about your process, and I just figured, let me do it right the first time.
Exactly. And so I want to say that I love proactive, right? Because Lyssa did not come to me in crisis. She was coming to me saying, hey, I know I have a newborn. I know I cannot sleep train a newborn, right? Because that was our whole conversation. So let's just level set that. Like, my philosophy is that until a baby is rolling both ways, front to back and back to front, and they've actually gone through their 4 to 5 month sleep regression, and they're symptom free from any reflux that they might have, then and only then can we think about doing any kind of sleep training. When Lyssa contacted me when her son was 4 months, we were in the sleep shaping mode where she's saying to me, like, hey, I know I'm about to go into this 4 to 5 month sleep regression. Like, help me understand what I need to know about newborn sleep, what I should be looking for, what should I be thinking about, what I can be doing to facilitate better sleep for him and me while we're moving through this end stages of the newborn phase. And that was great because at the time you called, you were traveling and you really needed some assurances that he was actually doing what he should be doing. So then therefore you weren't, you could go and enjoy yourself and know that you had the support in me during this kind of interim period while you're waiting for that regression to get over. And then you contacted me after that. And then you're like, what'd you say?
I was like, I am ready. I had a goal to try to get him sleep trained by the time I went back to work. What I had appreciated is, one, as we first chatted, having kind of the permission to know that I wasn't doing anything wrong. Cause I think, like, I was already worried so early, again, after having seen my sister, that maybe I was giving him all these sleep crutches, and just knowing that, like, that wasn't really possible at that age was huge for me, and like able to let that go and just really enjoy those moments so much more. But then also knowing all the things he needed to accomplish before we could start sleep training. So being mindful that he had gotten there. And then once he had, being able to reach out and say, like, okay, let's do it. Here's the timeline I'd love to aim for, and have you be so open and receptive and ready.
Yeah, exactly. And and this idea that that Lyssa was like, I just really want to have a smooth transition going back to work. And I want him to have a smooth transition going into daycare.
Yeah.
So a lot of families will call me in anticipation of making that big change over into daycare. And we really want that child to get really beautiful, consolidated sleep. In the home environment before we ask them to do this massive change in their daytime shift. And we were able to do that, which is so amazing because that gave you so much peace of mind when you had to go back into your, high powered job, that he was happy at his new daycare. He was sleeping well at his new daycare, that when you came home, you had a beautiful schedule for him so that you could manage that. So tell everybody what you thought about the process of gentle sleep coaching and what you learned from that about yourself or about your baby.
Yeah. Well, so first of all, I should say that, like, when we started the process, my son was sleeping, like, he was waking up 5 to 6 times a night. I would say on average 4 to 6 times, which is just what we'd been doing. Like, we fed every time and, got him back to sleep. But it took a lot. It took a lot of my evenings. It took a lot overnight. I was really tired. And so the thing that I loved about your process is that it's all based in science, right? So it was like, here is me explaining what's happening. And I think starting to differentiate like what your baby needs versus what your baby is doing, which is not something I would be able to know. And so I think like one of the things that really helped me, this even ties back to my job, right? Is I work with data all day, and everything that you and I did was like, let's track all the data points of what your kid is doing. Let's have very coordinated sleep logs. Let's understand point by point so that we can pick apart and understand, you know, what's causing what, and sort of the correlation causation conundrum. And so for me, that was huge. And it gave me also like, I think a lot of confidence starting off, whereas, you know, I was really nervous, you know, would the process work? Is this the right thing? Am I, you know, there are moments, of course, during the early days, especially where you're just like not sure if what you're doing is right. And so knowing that there's like an exact guideline for what you're supposed to do in every situation, almost like a formula for me was how I got through it. You know, it was like, I know I need to stick to this. I'm going to follow this to the letter and feel like I have some semblance of empowerment here to know what to.
And exactly. But what I want to kind of like add to what you said is that, everything that we did together was customized to meet your particular situation, your particular goals, your particular schedule. So although she just said, like, I knew I had to do at each stage, and that was helpful to me, I just want to communicate, like, in no way what we're doing is rigid, because what she needed as a single mom to move through this process is what we created, so she could move through the process at the pace that was right for her and the pace that was right for the baby. So the guidelines were negotiated between the two of us on behalf of the baby in order to meet her timelines and her goals. So the boundaries around the coaching is not rigid in any way. It is really dictated by the child's pace while simultaneously honoring kind of the goals and the values that the mom had. And Lyssa had a very tight timeline, and she had some goals and she had some requirements. And by the way, she's still room sharing with her baby. By the way, the baby got sick during this time, and the baby came back into the bed and was co-sleeping again and came back into the bed and was nursing again.
Yeah.
So I want to be super clear that this is not rigid. Like, we were like, okay, baby's sick. What do we do? I'm like, if you want to bring him back in the bed, he's coming back in the bed. No problem. We can clean it all up. And we did. And it was like, I don't have to. And that's where I think Lyssa was talking about this empowerment is kind of like, I don't have to like negotiate with myself and freak myself out about
that. I know what to do.
I know what to
do. All
these
different circumstances.
And I know exactly. And I have confidence in myself, and all the guilt and the doubt is now like smoothed out.
Yeah.
So that I have these little like guideposts, because I understand my little guy, and I can make decisions around those guideposts that are just so freeing.
Yeah. And can I say too, like, related to how customized this is, it helps you get to know your baby. I mean, you're with this little thing all day, every day. You think you know every little thing about them. And then I feel like learning about what these cues were that I'd been missing, that I didn't even understand were happening, knowing what to look for, and being taught again, like sort of some of the foundations of sleep science. It was game changing, the things I learned about him. It was really cool.
That's so awesome. So yeah, so tell me what's possible. Like, so now he's sleeping awesome, like, right? I mean, he's awesome. Going into the crib, happy.
Yep. I say goodnight and I leave the room. It's amazing. So different from the, like, you know, 45 minutes to an hour every night that I would try to get him to sleep and not to wake up when I put him in the crib. I mean, this is, again, it's a very different world now to just feel like he's in a good mood. He knows exactly what's coming. We have a super sweet sleep routine, and I can just put him down and say goodnight and leave the room. But for me, you know, again, having such disjointed nights prior to this, and now being back at work, knowing that I have 6 uninterrupted hours when I put him in that crib is game changing. Like, the things that I'm able to accomplish, whether it's work, whether it's cleaning up, whether it's watching Netflix. Like it is a hugely relaxing and amazing thing to be able to rely on. Whereas before I just felt like my nights were a crapshoot. Maybe he's only going to wake up 3 times tonight, but maybe he'll wake up 6, I just don't know. And now I feel like it is so consistent, and that has been just life-changing for me.
Yeah. I think the consistency of knowing that you have your evenings to yourself,
Yes.
and it's 2 type of knowing. It's intellectually knowing, oh yeah, I've got 6 hours until I go to bed. I can like have my agenda of the things I want, but it's emotionally knowing you're not going to get interrupted.
Yes.
And so the intellectual and the emotional knowing that this is real. This child literally is sleeping so soundly and so beautifully that I have a guarantee of 6 hours to do what I need to do in the evening to take care of myself or my work or my home environment or whatever. And that is like, woo, right?
I mean, huge. And let me also say that
Yeah.
this is not like, we're home every day at the exact same time and he has to go to bed at the exact same time. I think after, we built these foundations for him, now I'm able to be flexible. So, we travel, he's gotten sick, like we have late nights out sometimes at, relatives' houses, and all of this, we're able to like get back onto a normal sleep schedule within a day to 2 days. And I know what to do to like get us back there. And that is amazing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I always say that I like to create the foundation of the sleep skills so that in any circumstance or environment, they are available to your child and to you, so that life pressure tests you, right? You get sick, you travel, you have a late night at the relative's house, but it all still is working for your child. And it just is so helpful in the parenting journey, So, okay. So Lyssa, if you met a parent who was sleep deprived and overwhelmed, and they were also possibly scared, or maybe not understanding sleep training, like what do you want to tell them? Like, you've seen your sister, now you've done this yourself. What advice do you want to give them?
I would tell them, well, I've been there, first of all, because I know it's rough. And I have to say, like, even having seen my sister go through this process with Joanna, I was still skeptical. Like, I was still like that, maybe this doesn't work for every baby, and maybe this just really worked for her. Or she just could do it better than I could, or like understood the process better than I will, something like that. What I would say is that, like, trust in this process, trust in Joanna. I don't want to say it's foolproof, but like, it's so customized to you, your needs, and your baby's needs that like it works extremely well. And is not something that I would doubt being on the other side of it. Like, everything that I needed. I mean, honestly, like half the time I felt like she was a therapist for me. And then, the other half of the time it was like great science and clear, expectations for my specific baby. But yeah, I would say do it. Like, meet with her. It's going to change your life in all the good ways. And even if it seems scary or you don't think it'll work or you have doubts, do it anyway, because it works.
Thank you so much for saying that you're right. I mean, most people come skeptical, and I am totally okay with that, right? This is your baby. This is your life. This is your money. This is your time. I'm on the screen. You're thinking, how is this even going to work? She's never met me in real life. She's never met my baby in real life. How in the world could something like this work? But after nearly 13 years and thousands and thousands and thousands of families and babies at all ages, 6 months up to 10 years of age. So it's never too late. Those of you that are listening to this and have a 5-year-old and they're like, oh, it's too late. Nope. It's a learned skill. We can always create the right environment and circumstances for the learning to happen. Always. It's never too late. And it's okay if you're skeptical. It's fine. You should be. You're doing something new. But it works, it works, it works. So thank you for validating that.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for changing my life. Seriously.
You got your life back, huh?
Oh yeah. It's again, just so consistent and so night and day from what it was before.
Yay. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story.
My pleasure.